On this video, we're going to talk about cookware. So if you are not familiar with the fact that your cookware may be toxifying you, you're going to want to hear what I have to say. And as always, those of you that are trying to learn the art of metabolic switching, please know that your cookware and the improper cookware could be part of the problem of you not getting your results, which I get it. It's mind-blowing. So, ready? Let's dive in so we can really understand the basics of what you need to know about cookware. Okay, so let's think about this for a moment. There's so many things we do in our day-to-day and we don't even think about them. We just do them, especially when it comes to things in the kitchen. We're like, my mom did that and my grandma did that, and so I just do it. And we're not even aware of it. But when you put something on the counter, on the stovetop, whatever is in that pan is going to get heated up. And it's going to get heated up and it's going to go into your food. So the pan should be part of the healthy eating process. So make sure you avoid the three things that I'm going to talk about here. The same thing I want to point out happens in your dishwasher. So when you are washing dishes, if you have a lot of toxic pans that you're washing, like the ones I'm about to mention, or you're using toxic dishwashing soap, all that is being heated up and it's going on to the food, onto the surfaces of your dishware that you are going to be cooking and eating from. So it's really important that we go into. Okay, so the first one, this one I hope, please, this one is so important, let's just put this way, that if you have a pan that I'm about to say, I literally want you to go from this video and I want you to go and toss that pan. Throw it away and go get a new pan. And I'm going to tell you, if you're like, but wait, I can't afford to throw them away, I'm going to give you some cheaper options that are really helpful. So the first one is your non-stick pan. I get it. It's so nice, a non-stick pan. You don't have to worry about what oil, you don't have to put butter. Non-stick pans became really popular when we started villainizing butter. All of a sudden we started with all these non-stick pans. We came to the surface because we weren't putting oils in our pan, but they have a major chemical in it and it's called a PFOA and it's a forever chemical. Okay, why would we name something a forever chemical? Because it doesn't break down easily. In our environment, it stays in our environment forever. In our bodies, the research that I have seen is that it stays about 14 years in your body. That seems like a long time. So if we are using these non-stick pans and these forever chemicals are heating up into our food and we're eating it with our food, that forever chemical not only is an endocrine disruptor and throws off all your hormones, it can throw off everything from your sex hormones to insulin to cortisol, oxytocin, it can throw everything off. But it's also considered an obesogen. And obesogens are chemicals that are blocking the cells and affecting how that cell can be burned. So if you think about like those of you that are like trying to metabolically switch, or trying to get ketones, you're trying to drop weight, you're doing all the right things, and then you're cooking your food on a non-stick pan, and all of a sudden you're getting chemicals that are causing these cells to be weight loss resistant. That's when I hear obesogen, I think weight loss resistant. So let's get rid of the non-stick pan. That's number one. Number two is your aluminum pan. Again, heavy metals are endocrine disruptors. They are obesogens, but it's worse than that. Heavy metals, everything from aluminum to lead to mercury to thallium, cesium, arsenic. These are ones we've tested in my clinic for years and years and years. They damage your brain. And aluminum kind of got a really interesting reputation for causing Alzheimer's years ago, but it's not really aluminum per se that causes Alzheimer's. There's several situations that have to happen for Alzheimer's to occur in the brain. But heavy metals can be a major contributing factor to Alzheimer's, not the only. And here's why. You have, think of the neurons in your brain as branches of a tree. And they are constantly, the leaves are communicating with each other. So there's a constant communication between these neurons, and they communicate through these branches. Well, what happens with heavy metals is where they like to go is they go at the end of these branches. They're called dendrites. And they stick on the receptor sites. You have receptor sites there. On the end of these dendrites. And they make it so that information can't transmit from dendrite to dendrite. What that feels like to you is you're like talking to somebody and you're like, what was I saying? Why was I saying that? I don't remember. Or you walk into a room and you're like, why did I walk into the room? That's a thought coming across a neuron, going to the body of the neuron, out through the dendrite, but heavy metals are there blocking it, so it can't transmit to the next neuron. Now, in some cases, it'll hop and it'll find a neuron where it can transmit, but if aluminum and other heavy metals are there, it might be as simple as you're like in the middle of a sentence, you're like, that's a moment of the neurons trying to find another neuron. So these heavy metals will destroy brain neurons. And in the brain, if you don't use a neuron, you lose a neuron. Okay, the third pan that I want you to get rid of. Oh, this is a good one. It's good because I've fallen prey to it. And it's a pre-seasoned cast iron pan. Okay, what is in that pre-seasoning? Have you ever thought to ask yourself that question? Now, I will tell you, the first time I started to learn about pans, I did exactly what I'm telling you right now. I got rid of the Teflon, then I got rid of the aluminum, and I was like, okay, well, what's left? Stainless steel is great. That is a great pan. But I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go cast iron. So I go online to order a cast iron pan, and they're very inexpensive, which is great. And I just ordered a bunch of them, not thinking about anything. And then they came with this shiny seasoning on top. And when I pulled the pan out, I was like, wait a second, what's that shiny thing? I got very dubious. And what I realized is that shiny thing is an oil that they heat into the pan. And it's usually one of two things. It's either a wax or it's vegetable oil. Both of those are inflammatory. So vegetable oil specific is going to create a cellular congestion, so it's going to cause that cellular inflammation, which affects every part of your health. Let's not do the pre-seasoned, which leads me to what is the best, which is cast iron. So cast iron, when you do it properly, not only is it an incredible tool for cooking, and make sure you're washing it and seasoning it, but you can get a lot of iron from it. So think about that for a moment, especially for women that maybe have really heavy periods, or women that are perimenopausal and your progesterone's going down, and so you're getting a lot of clotting or a lot of hemorrhaging of blood because you don't progesterone will pace that shedding of your uterine lining out. So you might be losing more iron. And when you cook, it's the same principle, but in reverse. It's actually in a good way, right? When you cook with cast iron, you are getting iron. You're increasing your iron. It's a beautiful way to do it. So cast iron, not pre-seasoned, taking great care of it, making sure you're not putting in the dishwasher, making sure you're seasoning it with something like avocado oil would be great. That would be what I would recommend you season it with, so that it can keep that great surface on there. That's what we have in our house. It's a big one. And sometimes I hear that people say, well, it's really heavy. I get it, but that's good too. It's forcing you to use your muscles to pick it up, and that's great. We don't need everything to be so easy in our life. So a little bit of having the lifting is a really good idea. Okay, I got to interrupt this video because I have a free guide for you so you can master fasting. It's called A Beginner's Guide to a Fasting Lifestyle, and all you've got to do is click here and you can jump right in. Last thing I really want to point out, and I just feel like it's important for this conversation, and that is what you put in the microwave matters too. So we're talking about heating up on your stovetop, but I know a lot of you are still using microwaves, which I'm not a fan of, and I want to explain why. The first is microwave kills all food. So there's no vitamins, no minerals, no enzymes. It's all dead once you put it in the microwave. So if it's a food that didn't have any nutrient value in the first place, then great, fine, go ahead and put it in the microwave. So maybe like water. If you're heating up a cup of water, that in a glass mug, maybe that would be great in the microwave. But what a lot of us do, and I used to do this, is we take a plastic Tupperware, like something like broccoli. We're like, oh, I should eat my vegetables. And then we have a plastic saran wrap over the top, and then we put it in the microwave. We heat it up. All that plastic goes into the vegetable. All the vitamins and minerals are killed, and we're eating it thinking like it's going to be part of our health regime. It's going to be amazing. And it's not. Not only is it not amazing, you're toxifying yourself. Your leftovers, same thing, putting it in the microwave. I've become so crazy in my own head about plastics heating up that if I go and I get a cup of coffee when I'm traveling and there's a plastic lid on it, the first thing I do is take it off, because I just don't want all of the heat to go in there and have the plastics come down into the coffee So heat matters whether it's on the stovetop, whether it's in the microwave, whether it's at your coffee shop. And the container that we put our food in really matters for chronic disease, metabolic health, hormonal health. It's really important, brain health. This is why I wanted to bring it to you. So with that in mind, here's what I want you to put in the comments. Put what your favorite, which one is your favorite? Let's share. You might, maybe I missed one that is your favorite. So put it in the comments and let's see. And if you're looking for new pans, new cookware, you might find some inspiration in the comments. But as always, it's these little things that make the biggest difference on your health. So don't lose sight of how powerful your cookware is. So if you love this video, you're gonna wanna check out this video. Foods that I used to eat, 7 of them. I used to eat them all the time. Some of them are gonna shock you, and I don't eat them anymore. Now, let me tell you where you might find conventional fruit. So apples and bananas are kind of the biggies. Apple a day kept the doctor away. Not anymore.